thank you so much for being here today. My name is Michael Panganiban. So today I'm going to present about elevating your LabVIEW GUI design, so widget customization. So I might interchange the word widgets, objects, controls, indicators, but they're basically GUI object in my opinion, I think. But yeah, it's up to you guys. Okay, so about myself, I have an electronics engineering background. I'm a certified LabVIEW architect since 2017. I just renewed my CLA last week, so planning to pile up again some points. Yeah, so those logos are the ones that I worked for before, and some stack that I know. So I also been a semiconductor test specialist at NI back in the days, and I also worked for Continental, Tesla, and now at Fresh, and I'm working on AI glasses. Yeah, so so yeah, Python is, yeah, even though I am a certified LabVIEW architect, I'm doing like more Python these days, so 80%, 20%, and I really enjoyed LabVIEW, so that's why I like to present and then share my knowledge about it. And then graphical user interface is one of my forte, or kind of enjoy it doing, because I think it's the very first impression when you do deliver it to the client. So as Sam said, cleaner code is, I like that phrase actually. Clean code is better than clever code, and probably that's not what we're getting here, but it's more of the looks and the GUI. But yeah, that's for later. And I just created this, I think, half a day in terms of the coding, because I literally used the producer consumer template in LabVIEW. It's just the application of it. You'll know more soon. But yeah, I'm also a PC gamer. Not much time nowadays, but yeah. Okay, agenda and purpose. Again, sit back and relax. For this presentation, all you need to do is to probably know some external tools that you can use to improve the GUI design. I'm not going to go through some advanced stuff like X control, for example. That could be Series 2. Hopefully, I can manage to have some time to prepare for that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to present more. So yeah, my practices and the GUI that attracted previous clients, and so those are the ones that I'd like to tackle today. Okay, so references, again, AI nowadays, Google still the best, and then AI like quick coding. So yeah, I'm just putting credits to all of the references that I use for this presentation and to create this presentation. You might hear me mentioning some company names, like JKI, for example. So I'd like to begin this presentation by showing you this graphical user interface, or this font panel. So to me, this user interface is okay. It's clean. It's simple, right? So nothing's wrong with this graphical user interface. But what's preventing us from doing such thing? Like page navigation wise, it's on the left. It's super common nowadays, and flat structure. So those are the things that you might learn a thing or two from this presentation. Yeah, so you can see we have this company logo, so I'll be using company's logo, and I'll be distributing this code as well, so you can have reference. So I'll probably just posting on our LabVIEW user group NI forum. Like for example, simple Boolean control, and we can elevate it to like simple or flat theme similar to this, because nowadays we're not just running LabVIEW in our computer, sometimes in a tablet, for example, right? So they're very, in terms of user experience, you can improve it like having like on and off name and just simple button like that. So I'll be using, so probably you can see that it's more simple in terms of the color selection, even in the slide, because I think nowadays using flat theme or less color, the better, but it's in case-by-case basis to me. I remember before, I had an intern who actually developed LabVIEW, and he uses a lot of colors, pink, purple. I don't mind the color really. It's like he chose some neon colors, which I think appropriate in the application because it's kind of the map sort of thing. But yeah, they have their own use. So yeah, it's really up to you. It's more of, if it's good but on your eyes, then definitely that could be good to others as well. And yeah, and I highly encourage like peer review as well of the color. So typical approach. So I want to begin this presentation not just by GUI design or the looks of it, but also how would you develop the graphical user interface. So we know that LabVIEW, the front panel and block diagram is already tied together, and you can basically design your GUI, which will be the front facing to your client and application, and also the actual code that is kind of doing all of the actions are in the same code. So that is the typical approach. So in this type of approach have a lot of limitations. Like for example, how would you run it on RTOS? We know that when LabVIEW compiles RTOS, the graphical user interface is being uh, removed in a way, and then you can only use it as basically just polling when you try to control it. And what if it is running on headlessly or in a headless manner, right? So that is the time where you need to decouple the graphical user interface with your engine. When I say engine, it's the actual LabVIEW code that is doing the processing, data acquisition, control, and the graphical user interface really just displaying what it is and probably sending. And how can we do that? So there's a lot of typical approach there. So you have the engine VI and the graphical user interface VI running asynchronously. And how can we communicate? So if you're running on the same computer, you can use like queue, event, user event. But if you're running on a separate machine to another, then you can use this TCP/IP, for example, is the best one by far. So yeah, inter-process communication is just terminology in software programming where your multiple software and architect or software codes or modules are running in parallel, and then they're sending data and then exchanging data. So if your graphical user interface is decoupled with your engine, then you can have these different scenarios. If your engine is running on target one, for example, Windows OS, you can communicate through user event or queue. Or in different scenarios here, you can communicate through TCP/IP. So imagine your engine application running on your Windows or in your RTOS in a headless manner. You can simply connect through TCP/IP, run your user interface in your LabVIEW host computer, and then you can communicate and just select the IP address to communicate with. So that's how flexible this architecture. So that's my main advice there in terms of the before you go into the looks of your graphical user interface, think first on how you would handle the data and transfer. So yeah, it's really up to you. Okay, so I'll probably titled some of my slides with some phrases like rhyming here. So symmetry is the best policy. I think the symmetry matters in terms of graphical user interface. It's not just always you put the actual good controls. If you have radio button, new radio button, silver when it first launched, I kind of trigger happy using the silver theme. So yeah, what really matters is the symmetry. So as you can see in this front panel here, I mostly use system theme, and I think that is still dominant in terms of being simple of your GUI. In terms of the design, it's flat theme, things like that. So nothing can go wrong on this type of approach, really. So can be achieved by object alignment. So yeah, symmetry. It's more of your mind sometimes just finding the things to make it balanced. So that's how we perceive it in a way. So again, as mentioned here, so this is a clean UI, a simple one, but there are something that are off, and based on the looks of it. And we can go over one by one. So object alignment, as you can see, those tiny details on the lower right portion, those are off and not aligned to the actual right portion of the screen. So that can be improved, and also those version there. So it is not really a big issue here, but trust me, if you improve that, even the slightest design of your GUI or objects, that can improve much more. So I'll show you at the end of the this topic right here. So even distribution of objects. So some spaces are missing. So in your mind, you want it to be complete, something are missing there. So that is also one of the things that the end user would want to see. Size consistency, you can see here, abort tests, what's preventing us from making them with the same size, right? So same width. So that also matters in a way. That can improve your looks. So logical placement. So compared to the previous slide here, we aligned we made the size of the abort and run test button at the same size. We adjusted those alignment of the version and the run test button at the bottom. it's like more balanced now. So that's those tiny details, but that can improve your GUI design a lot. So yeah, it's kind of cringy if I can see some of them yeah, using it, but yeah, I'm not too picky about that. It's more of the design that I try to improve. Exactly. Yeah. 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 That is also a good thing. Yeah. Resizing window. That is why I'm not covering that one because that is very tricky. Nowadays, also the resolution of your monitor, it really can get messed up. And I'm not also touching base about the splitter because that can also mess up with your graphical user interface. So there are some, that's for series two. Again, because I enjoy it, not because of the recertification points. I'm just kidding. But yeah, yeah, we'll probably touch base on those at some point. So here as well, so symmetry is the best policy. As you can see here, so like a typical border, and all of the labels are on the right. So you can notice that they're aligned on the left, but somehow those labels are not aligned on the right. So nothing is preventing us from putting it or changing it a bit, move it to the left, and then just alignment. It's like the order and the balance of the look of it. So that definitely improved. And also you notice the spaces on the left and right. We just shrink it and it's symmetrical now in all edges.
Convention for numerics to be right aligned.
Sir, can you repeat that, please?
The values of the numeric fields shouldn't be aligned to the right.
That's a good question. So it's really up to you, but that could improve that as well. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I didn't notice that. Yeah.
The numeric
Yeah. So he asked if yeah. So just for others, yeah. So he asked if we can align all of the numeric those zeros from the left going to the right. So if that can improve it. That might because some digits are yeah probably for example if you have 4-digit resolution for your voltage but 2 only for the resistance things like that. So that can improve it as well. That's a great point. So yeah, it's really up to you on how you because designing graphical user interface you can probably will take hours and then sometimes you're forgetting to focus more on the actual application. So be careful on that. As much so my practice is to begin with as simple as plain as the user interface that I showed you at the beginning before moving into the ones that are advanced, like for example, that navigation, and we'll see more of it later. But yeah, so that's the danger of designing graphical user interface. And yeah, I spent hours on that. Okay, so I forgot to mention earlier that in the middle of the slides or among the slides, I have this kind of trivial did you know? So it's like a style there. So if you see that smiley little icon there on the bottom right. So how many of you guys are familiar with the pane origin in LabVIEW? Front panel. Yeah, pane origin. Yeah. So did you know that the coordinates of upper left, so you can basically relocate or I'm not sure, I think I put there, LabVIEW 2018. So you have the control space plus O. So control space is basically enabling the quick drop. Are you guys familiar with the quick drop? Yeah, quick drop. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, so but control space plus O, that is will basically move all of your objects or just basically putting the X0 and Y0 of the origin back to its original location. But there's also one, I can probably demonstrate it soon, but there's also one, oh, it's there. So adjust pane origin. So let's say, for example, you don't want to move all of your objects because you're kind of already putting them here, you lock it there, then you can have that aligned pane origin and it will move to whatever you're scrolled on, whatever the current X and Y axis of your origin. That will be zeroed out, and then that will be your origin. Yeah, you can try this. Okay, there's a lot of shortcut keys also that are new to LabVIEW nowadays. So I think I'll touch base some of them later. Okay, tools that rule. How many of you guys familiar with these icons right here? Okay, today's your lucky day. So the one on the top is called Inkscape. Both of those tools are open source. So yeah, try to download them now. It's really good in graphical user design. So I use them here. I will also share the file later. But Inkscape file, have you guys are you guys familiar with vector file in general? Vector file, yeah. So it's a digital image file type of file that uses mathematical calculation for its curves and things like that. So that when you scroll it or zoom it in, it is not getting pixelized. It's not a bitmap sort of thing. I'm not an expert of that, but that's the high level definition of the vector file. So if you want to begin designing your graphical user interface, there are some free vector file online that you can download. Of course, just mention them in your code, that just to give credits, right? But yeah, there's a lot of vector files available. I think the file extension name is .svg. This is really neat in terms of you can draw everything there, really. There's a learning curve to do that, but it's open source, available on Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. Really good. The other one is GIMP, stands for GNU Image Manipulation Program. It's open source raster, graphics editor raster. I just read about this an hour ago. It's like the bitmap. That is the pixelized one, but it's really good, and I highly recommend it if you want to improve your icon editor, like 48 by 48, 32 by 32. If you want to deploy your application and then just use it, yeah, GIMP is the way to go. It's open source again. I think I've installed it in three big platforms, so they work best. And yeah, I'll probably show you some of this later. Okay, how many have you guys experienced customizing at least a Boolean control before? Yep. Yep, picture, yes. And yeah, so this is how you do it. And this is the basic, I call it basic. So you can follow this. Again, the slides will be shared later, but basically right-click it, right-click, very powerful in LabVIEW, and then go to customize. So I'm not gonna go to over this, but basically you can paste it and you can select which state of the Boolean button you want to put your image. It could be false or true. You can see here, and then yeah. So that's how we'll try to run the front panel that I showed you later, but that's how you do it. Yeah. Sam? Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah. I think it's more of limitations. Yeah, that's a great point. So yeah, if whenever you have the chance to try this out, and yeah, as Sam said, if you try to open multiple windows, I also did that. It's kind of yeah, getting out of whack, or yeah, that's a good feedback to Anna at some point. Yeah. Okay. Now, why do I have the basic and the advanced? So the advanced here is basically customizing. So probably it's a good time to go back here. This, you see those Boolean controls at the bottom. So that's how you customize it. So I customize it using the basic approach, as you can see. But we will have more fancy way of doing it, and which is the advanced. So the advanced works only on certain type of Boolean button. That's why it's here. And my instruction there, drag and drop an OK button from the system theme controls palette. For some reason,
Can you use SVG, so vector ones there too?
so
I never tried. I tried only bitmaps.
yeah,
Are you saying if we can use vector pictures?
yeah. So he's asking if we can use vector file.svg here. The answer to this question is not, but I've used that Inkscape and vector file to be able to create a bitmap or PNG file that is not pixelated. So that is the main use. That's why I share those tools. Yeah. So that's a very good point. And one of the limitations of this is that it can get pixelized if you resize your button. So sometimes I really need to create a fixed size of controls, multiple sizes, for example, different applications. It's not too difficult. So yeah, you can basically just create them and then reuse it somewhere. Just create an X control. Or yeah, type def, not X control. Yeah, type def control. Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Is there documentation for that? I never remember.
That is a very good question. I first saw a documentation from that, at least a post from JKI. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I can't find it now. I tried to find it. Yeah, I can. There's some good videos that were, yeah, that was kind of discussing this, but it's not also super clear, so I can't find it anymore. So yeah, if you can see it, then yeah, share it to others. But yeah, that's a very good question. That's why I am also sharing it here, because I can't find any detailed documentation about this in terms. So yeah, so what Sam is referring to is about the grid is like this at the bottom. So basically, a control has a picture item that you can see at the bottom. So I don't know if it is clear enough, but you can read it. Picture item. It's basically the first one on the left. So I have it. Why am I? Okay, so this is a better one. Okay, so the first one on the top left is the false state of your button. The second one is a true state. Third one is when you click then hold, transitioning from true to false. So it's getting trickier now, but at least it's not math, right? And then the one on the bottom left is when you click then hold, transitioning from false to true. So you will appreciate that later. I will have a fancy demo to you. So at least to the real use case and how can you leverage about this. And then the other one is when you hover your mouse. So this is kind of pretty straightforward. When you hover your mouse, if it is state is false, and then the other one if it is true.
You can do it all programmatic. Proper.
Yes, you can also do that programmatically. Yeah, through property node. Yes. Yeah.
In terms of what you're going with is there a state for how these color, how much darker, color, like what shade grading is just. That's
That's a good question. So you guys, yeah. Yeah. So there's the short answer is there's non-concrete. Yeah. Oh yeah. To repeat the question, is there a standard color to use in terms of what to use for each of the item on that grid, like how transparent it is based from your primary color or secondary? Yeah. So the short answer, at least I searched for it, the short answer is there's no strict or concrete rule of that. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Test mic. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Short answer is there's no concrete or hard rule to use in terms of choosing the color, but there are some guidelines, and I think they called it rule, but the 80/30. I have a slide for that. So yeah, I have a better answer for that, but yeah, there's no concrete rule. Yeah, but that's a really good question, and that is super related to this. Because I said you can pick neon color, but it depends on the application, right? If you need to attract attention. Okay, and then input for file, and yeah. So you can see here, I have 6 images, and we will see them in action later. You can see that 5 and 6 when you hover, it is more of the design intent. Like for example, if you want to hover your mouse on a false state, on item number 5, I'm basically pointing an arrow going to the right, saying that you can slide it in. Like
And these all bitmaps,
these are PNG files.
PNG files.
PNG files.
Still bitmaps.
Yeah.
They're not really resizable, right?
That's not resizable. Yeah. So that's what I mentioned earlier. So he said that this is not bitmap. This is still bitmap, and the answer is yes. It's not a vector file that you can import. I'm not sure yet. So hopefully in the future lab, you can support an actual vector file, but this is a bitmap. So I'm still having issues or error prompt whenever I try to import vector files. So yeah, but yes, there's still bitmap. So that's why I mentioned earlier, you might want to create multiple controls and indicators for different sizes of the objects. Yeah, and then on off. So yeah, we'll see this in action. As you can see on this grid, we have the 6th grid here, like the one that I mentioned. So this is for the advanced. So yeah, this really, yeah, leveled up controls and indicators of the look qubit.
So we better put them on the panes that do not stretch the window.
That is a good point. Yes. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, again, make it inaccessible for the end user to stretch it again or resize it because again, they're fixed. I think there's a proper solution to that if you create your own X control. I haven't explored that further. I've explored the X control like creating a combo box with memory. Call it combo box with memory. I developed it in yeah previous company, but yeah, so more fun stuff with that. Okay, so did you know that? Yeah, so this is, don't quote me on this. There's some, yeah, again, so there are trademarks and logo guidelines. I put it here, but there's a reference here that we can probably open a bit. Just the history, just for fun stuff, history of NI logos. Yeah, based on years, so you can follow that. So the point here is the old, just history or trivia here. The old NI Eagle logo mark internally recognized as Nigel and the company's mascot. So I think, I'm assuming that's the basis of what this Nigel AI is came from. So yeah, it's basically NI Eagle, and then internally within NI, they call it Nigel or Nigel. Yeah, just trivia again. Just
No,
to
they just like to use a lot of gel.
Nigel. Okay. Okay, so I think demo time. I have my LabVIEW project here. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, I'll share this. Let me just focus on the symmetry. So some of them I just use, but yeah, tab here. Is it too big here? Yeah, I think it's, yeah, you can see here, I can navigate clearly with this pretty nice icons with text, and that's how I use it. And it's all in Inkscape. And I can also show you the Inkscape here that I use, images, with all of the drawings. I can try to open it. Okay. Should have pre-opened this, but that's fine. So this is how Inkscape looks like. And basically just having fun with this icon again. So if you zoom in, there's no pixelated. So that's the beauty of the vector file. So you can, but I'm exporting them as PNG because yeah, vector file is at the moment it's not yet supported. So we will soon see this. Location. What else did I share earlier? Apologies. I think I can just mirror my, because I have a demo later that needs to access the button here. Probably I need to change the pixel, but I'll figure it out later. What else that I can show here? What else did we tackle? Yeah, so we'll be going also the splash demo and then the about. I think all of them. Yeah, button with icons here. Okay, so let's try to explore this. This is the one that I'm. So you see here, so these are the basic, right? And this is basic again with like label. And this is the one that is advanced. If you try to hover your mouse, it will just point you of whichever direction you can point it in. And if I click it and hold, it will tell me that you are about to position it or to change its state to on position. And you can cancel it by releasing the click outside of the button. So that's the use of those other grids there. And at the same time, if you hover your mouse, you can slide it to the left and you can hold and click. It will tell you that you're about to turn it off, but you can cancel it by removing your mouse cursor and releasing it. So that's, yeah, most use of the control here. Okay, so again, I will share this code later. Yeah, any questions so far? That's pretty straightforward. put you into sleep, but okay. Okay. So I think this is the answer to a better answer. I'm not saying the answer to your question, Sam. Contrast for enthusiasts. Again, there's a 60-30-10 rule, like 60% for dominant color, large areas, 30% for secondary color, supports dominant color, and again, the remaining 10 for the ones that you want to put a highlight or basically just to grab end users' attention, right? So that is kind of the rule. But in terms of the level, there's none really, but I tend to use, like, for example, a black color. I just tended to make a gray, like 50%-ish, things like that. So I'll show my practice, but yeah, I cannot answer that directly in terms of the rule. And then there's another rule that I've also learned about, which is the 3-color rule. Limit the number of colors within GUI into 3, and at least one of them is a change in contrast of the other ones, so related to your answer as well. So these are just guidelines and not a hard rule. So
Those 3 colors, I mentioned color wheel, so they're supposed to be on that color wheel, like 1, 2, 3. Then you get that color wheel allows you black color coming up from pattern. Different enough, but and a nice match or whatever from aesthetic. That's very perfect. That problem. But Google it and read whatever. You just Google the Adobe color wheel, what it is, that's the eye of a color wheel is. You can read about it. That's how to select color. Hope for your UI, painting. It applies there too. Art and design.
Yep, that question. And okay, so another, did you know here, color selection. So did you know that red, orange, and yellow, like for example, fast foods, you notice that they're orange, yellow, and red. That is basically for attracting your attention, makes you feel to heighten your appetite. So that's basically, so I just learned that. So it's not that you want your end client to be hungry, but basically just to attract attention, but still free to have the guideline of like having a blue or green because they're the one just like easy to look into. And it's basically just hiding their focus in terms of focus. So that's also the guideline that I found. And again, yeah, guideline. Right? Okay, so because of the, I'll try to share my screen in a full scale later so that I'll just compile majority of the demonstration at the end. Yeah, yes. So that's a very good point right there. So just for others, yeah, be mindful, be cautious of selecting or using blue and green. So this is guideline. So I think at the end of it, or just to a good objective is to always ask the client. So that's what our practice as well, because they tend to have their preference or certain rules that they're complying into, right? So that's a very good one. Yeah, thanks for bringing it up. And also, I think I've found, or I developed something before that is also color blind friendly. So you can add that also as an option. So you can also add like selecting between dark and light theme. So those as well. But yeah, thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, that's a very good point. Okay, so as mentioned, okay, so prompt the user but do not linger. How many have you guys are being annoyed with the built-in pop-up window of LabVIEW, or at least find its limitation? Yeah. So yeah, that's a very good point. Again, that one button dialog is basically a blocking. So that's why I mentioned here a blocking, because that's a kind of limitation. And it's again under root loop. And there's also I've explored this before, like in the GUI loop as well, right? Like the memory in the GUI. So they're kind of fighting over, but root loop is like the one that is kind of. Yes, yeah. It's another portion of this graphical UI thing. Yeah, the UI thread. But yeah, yeah, finding limitation in the one button dialog box. So that's why you can create your own with a timer. So that's why the phrase here, prompt the user, but do not linger. So this is, so I'll share the code also, but basically the concept is like creating your own pop-up window asynchronously, and then inter-process communication through user event or queue going back to your main UI. So that way,
We'll make it a separate app.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Help to show up or I did.
Yes, yes, yeah. It's so yeah, just another option, and yes. So again, yeah, user event or queue, you can use it. So basically, launch it and forget about it, and then just wait for the return value if it canceled or not. So yeah. So there's another one that I will demonstrate later. It's like the notification within your front panels, like blinking. I know there's a property, there's an object or control property that is blinking. So that's not what I will about to demonstrate to you, but it's kind of similar to that. So we'll know more on my demonstration. But yeah. Okay, so did you know that you don't need to run your LabVIEW code to be able to preview how it looks like when you're about to run it? You have this shortcut key called Control M. So it's like preview your UI. It's basically will put your front panel to a running look, but it's not actually running. So that exists. The limitation to this, which is I hope they can allow it in the future, is that your code needs to be not a broken VI. So it needs to be compilable before you can use this. So yeah, you can try it now if you have LabVIEW there, Control M and then Control M to release it again. So that is another key. So you don't need, for example, you have a lot of, in your code, you have a lot of instrument control, but they're not present, but you want to preview your code. So this is very useful in that case. So I think other useful control double quote. I think if you are very, so this is basically just opening up the tool for the font. This is previously Control 0 back in the days, but yeah, they changed a lot. So it's now Control double quote. And then quick drop again, Control F. Have you guys used this one? This is very useful. It's like we developed some VI scripting in the past, and this is basically one of those, like the going to origin, pin origin. So now it's built in LabVIEW. So the Control F, so what it does is, let's say you have your VI here, and you wire all of your terminals. Yeah, so exactly this one. Why am I explaining? So as you can see in this front panel, all of the objects are not in specific location. It's like not organized, right? And then after you wire them to your terminal and then hit the quick drop and then press Control F, they will be arranged as this one. Yeah. Control U nowadays? To do the quick drop? Oh, that's a good point. Control. Oh, yeah, I didn't know about that. I have not used it. I'm a fan of quick drop. But yeah, thanks. It's slow. Not 50. Oh yeah. You probably, yeah, probably those are good opportunities to report it, right? Because we can report the bug in LabVIEW. I think they have some. Yeah. So yeah, that's a very good point. So Sam said here that nowadays you can use Control U. I haven't used it personally because, yeah, probably. Oh, so it basically also do the control origins for you all at once. Oh, off screen. Yeah. Yeah, because it can mess up. Okay, so it has its own use. Yeah. So it's like window management also in a way. Okay, yeah, that's a good thing to know. So yeah, so that's a good trivia as well. But yeah, if you just want to arrange them this way and not deal with the window management, you can use the Control F, quick drop Control F, or you can use this. I'm excited to try that one. Yep, thanks for that. Okay, so as mentioned, I will just compile everything and on a big screen on the resolution here. Okay, splash for cache. So how many of you guys are using a splash screen in your application? That's nice. That's nice. I'm a fan of a splash screen, but again, it has its own use. Make sure though to have some sort of checkbox here. Do not show on the next launch. Like some end user are kind of annoyed with this pop-up, so they have their option, right? And then you can basically try to add that to the INI file or configuration file so that you can basically toggle it on and off offline. So option as an option. It's not. So as you can see here, very flat structure. I just created one pop-up window. So probably if I can distribute this, you can reuse it for fresh projects, which is really nice. So this gives us the opportunity to basically give the end user what's happening in your code, loading resources, compiling or reloading calibration file, things like that. So it's really nice. It looks very professional, and that definitely will make your application. Yes. That's a very good point there. So he suggested to use .gif file. This is actually GIF, but I did a screenshot I can show later. But I just pasted, you can directly paste a GIF file directly at the front panel in LabVIEW. And you can also add your own or create your own animation by putting multiple files as well in the picture ring control. So there's a lot of options. But yeah, so, and again, what he also suggested to have some sort of like changing of the images while it's happening or loading. So yeah, you can add this as well. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, that's a good point there. So yeah, so end goal here is to basically just to showcase the end user what's happening and also your opportunity to market what you have and then what to offer. So yeah, just to linger in their mind that, okay, they offer these services. Okay, why not contact them again in this time? So yeah, multiple uses there. What is it about? So splash screen is different than the about window. So you can see here, I have more information about the company, and these are already, again, using the Boolean control customized one. These are basically Boolean button that you can open a URL when you click it. And again, the behavior of about page, whenever you click it outside or press any key, it will just close on its own. So yeah, just another concept, again, another fancy, yeah, looks in your graphical user interface. So, and some other approach also, you can put the version of your, or the change logs, a bit high level change log of the code. So things like that, like the versioning as well. Yeah, so I think it's time for a demo. So if you have questions now while I'm opening the demo code here, any questions, suggestions? So thank for the collaboration. Those inputs are really great. And yeah, that's a good point. So the question is that some different Windows behavior from different application, right? So I don't have the exact answer right now. I've worked on TestStand application in the past. I didn't renew my TestStand developer certificate, but I think it's more of the modal settings of some of your window that is basically hugging or yeah, hugging the front panel. Okay, so yeah, just to complete the demo, so I have a few demos here. I think this is the prompt, the user, but do not linger. So yeah, I think this is the one that you can see here. Okay, so this is one approach that you can use as well. So there's just another indicator there that is in transparent mode or transparent color. But basically just, if you don't really need the pop-up window and that just need to notify the user, you can use that approach like start test, like for example, you're missing this, like blink multiple times and then completely remove. So the approach to that is like basically in the code, well, you will have the code. So the approach is like basically launching another asynchronous VI that is basically returning or sending queue message to your main to display on the string indicator that what's happening, and then there's a control there in the timer. So 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 again, as mentioned, so the code is like user, producer, consumer. So I'll share this with you, but yeah, you have that. So the main objective here is just don't always prompt the user, just put a notification similar to that in your UI. Okay. So the other one that I'd like to see, to show here is that, so this is another front panel, but this is the splash screen. Yeah. So basically, this is manipulating the transparency. Among of you, some of you already done this before. So yeah, just putting this, making your main front panel to be minimized or transparency to 100%, and then just after your splash screen, make it to 0, or basically show it again. So that's just the and then the about here. So I'm kind of having trouble here in the resolution of the main panel, but yeah, just showing here like the about screen, and then it will pop up. I'm not logged in, but yeah, basically opening up some URL for you. So again, the about, and then again, if you click it on anywhere of the window, it will post it on its own, like the typical behavior of about. So a good reference is like the LabVIEW code, right? So you have the about button here. Yeah, similar one. So in terms of the contrast, you can see that it uses a white color here and then a bit of beige or yeah, ish here. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. So nothing is advanced really, but it's more of improving your graphical user interface design. So I'm gonna share this code, and then yeah, you can bash it if you want, or you can send me a message, and then yeah. But yeah, happy to share this. And if you have questions, yeah, now is the time. I think that's the end of my presentation here.